So your profile said you were African American.
I am a frickin' American.
What's up, guys? So, one of the things I feel like people are missing these days is context and like a deeper understanding. And what I'm trying to mean by this is you hear the talking point that aliens are demons. You heard Vice President J.D. Vance say the very same thing just the other week. But I don't think people have a context as to why that talking point is out there and why specifically people of a Christian denomination are calling aliens demons. To get a little backstory, the best thing for you to do is to go look into Aleister Crowley. Go look into Aleister Crowley's The Beast. Go look into Aleister Crowley's Lamb. I'll try to see if I can pull up like a little video clip or a little picture or something and place it like right here so you guys can see it. But go look into Aleister Crowley's Lamb. I'm sure you're wondering, creative action, noise. What are we doing talking about Aleister Crowley and the occultism whenever you were just talking about aliens? Well, they're one and the same. They are extraterrestrial or even extra-dimensional entities. Like my kids. I don't know where the hell they come from. All right, back to Aleister Crowley, back to Lamb, back to the occultism. This entity had two names. It was called Lamb or Ayahuas. Not ayahuasca, Ayahuas, or Lamb. This entity said, one day you guys will call us angels. The next day, you'll call us something else. In previous times, they were referred to as demons, fallen angels, spirits, masquerading entities, you see. In our modern day, hyper-technological, super scientific cosmology, we quantify these entities as extraterrestrials, as aliens. In the Bible, it talks about this. And the only way I know this is from following the works of Russ Dizdar, where he frequently used the word metaschematizo. Metaschematizo. It sounds like a mouthful, but he's simply talking about how certain entities have the ability to shapeshift, to transform. It talks about this in the Bible as well. It talks about how even the devil can masquerade as an angel of light. And yet somehow, the Bible in its infinite wisdom, filled with mysticism, divinity, occultism, ancient mysteries, and more, somehow didn't talk about aliens. It's because they're masquerading in our time frame. These are the same entities of old that have simply just been rebranded. This is what we're dealing with. A very old spiritual force forcing its way into our present day reality. That's got to be very disturbing, because what was done so long ago to keep these entities out, and why now are we so open to letting them in? I'm going to do a better video on this because it doesn't deserve to be on an Instagram story or as like an Instagram reel. And in this video, I'm going to feature some of the work of Joseph Joe Jordan. He's from MUFON. Now we're talking about UFOs. The thing is, though, Joseph Joe Jordan is a Christian. And if you've been following the alien abduction phenomenon, or at least the alien agenda for several years, you may have heard of this person. He talks about how certain alien abductions are stopped whenever people call upon the name of Jesus Christ. This is something that he's known at least since the 90s. Looking at it right here, it says that he has over 400 plus cases documenting this phenomenon. Why would aliens be worried about Jesus Christ? Let me read a little bit about Joseph Jordan, and then I'll go ahead and kind of wrap this little rant up But it says the most prominent researcher who has extensively documented cases of alleged alien abduction being halted by invoking the name of Jesus Christ is Joseph Joe Jordan, a longtime MUFON, a Mutual UFO Network investigator and founder of the CE4 Research Group. Jordan, who has investigated UFOs and abductions for decades, began encountering reports when experiencers claimed the phenomenon stopped instantly when they called out to Jesus for help. He and collaborators, such as Wes Clark, systematically collected and verified these accounts, documenting over 400 plus cases where abductions or encounters ceased upon invoking Jesus' name or authority. Many of these were previously unreported publicly by secular UFO groups to concerns about credibility. Okay, I'm simply saying there are other researchers like Gary Bates who, like Joseph Jordan, have looked into the phenomenon of stopping alien abductions upon calling the name of Jesus Christ. This is me simply saying that there is a much deeper spiritual component to this so-called extraterrestrial phenomenon, or even us going into what we think of as space. And the more that we go into this strange world, you're going to see some things that don't really make sense be thrown right at you because there's no context. I can guarantee you these days, you will not find a lot of people in the truth community, or at least online, that are breaking down why aliens are demons and how that is a very spiritual component. And it's something that people have been dealing with at least since the 50s. Go look into the Collins Elite. Go look into Project MK Often. There are all kinds of tidbits and rabbit trails that show this is a plague, a spiritual plague. And this is why it's called an incursion in the Bible. It's a spiritual plague. They are taking things over, or at least they are attempting to. You see, so you want to talk about a false flag alien invasion. Well, what would an invasion look like? Would we welcome them in? Would we worship them? Would we trade them out for our old gods? Would we say that there is no Jesus Christ? There's only, Gleeklorp and the Pleiadians and the Zeta Reticuli and the reptilians. There's no Jesus Christ. So you're already being conditioned to accept this cosmological change, this narrative that goes in perfect harmony with the switch from the age of Pisces into the age of Aquarius. You see, so much of this stuff has already been front-loaded onto you. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and cut this off here because I got to go do dad things. But I would highly recommend you guys to go down the rabbit hole. I'll see if I can put the link right here. I did a video a few years back called Demons, Aliens, and Robots. And at the time, I thought it was pretty far-fetched. I was like, my God, you've lost your mother-loving mind. You've gone way too far off the deep end. But as I've gotten older, and as that's become like evergreen content, I find myself thinking like, no, that was actually basically it. We're dealing with something that wants corporeal form here and can inhabit it, right? It doesn't belong here, but can take things over, that can possess inanimate objects and resemble life. I know this is some pretty crazy stuff that we're talking about so far, but man, it's you have to understand so much crazier than I can ever explain. And that's why I'm going to be doing that with a quick video. This is me just saying, man, I got too much stuff to talk about.